Hey, good morning, everyone. We'll wait for just a couple of minutes, then we will start. Sure, Rohit. Let me share my screen. See, basically, Rohit, what happens in Git pull, let's say this is your remote repository, right? And you are a developer, A, B, C. All of you did the clone, right? So let's say there we have the version 1. So you all have cloned version 1. Right. But now what happens is after some time, this developer has done some changes and make it to version 2 and push these changes to version 2. Right. So now what will happen is the developer B and developer C, if they want to get the changes, so they need to do a pull so that their repository is also on the version 2. Okay, so this is basically we call it as a pull, and there is a very simple command for that that is called the git pull. So let's see what we have covered yesterday. Git commit ID we have seen. So Sushil, the best practice is that you can do the work on your system. Until you are working, that is fine. But let's say if you want to push it, so it is a best practice that before pushing any changes, uh, get it from the get a final pull from the repository, merge your changes, then you push. But yes, if you want to know if there is any changes in the repository or not, then yes, every time you have to do the pull. Okay, now understand the very important concept of branch. So currently what we have seen till now, right? This is whatever we are doing, let's say this is version 1 and this is we are doing some commit and this is creating version 2, right? So it all happening in the master branch. So by default, when you create a Git repository, it comes with the master branch. So master branch, you can say it is a default branch. Okay. So if I see my repository, so let me go to any repository that Git demo. And if you see the command git branch, so you can see only one branch is there, and that is and you see a star. So currently we are on the master branch. Okay, so what does it mean basically is whenever you are doing any development, okay, so whenever you are doing any development, v1, v2, v3, you are doing on a master branch by default. Okay, now what do you mean by the branch? Branch means, let's say you are working on something. Okay, this master branch's code is deployed into the production. Now you want to, you do not want to do any modification in this code, but you want to experiment something. Okay, you want to experiment on something, you want to develop a new feature, you want to enhance some functionality, but since this code is stable, you do not want to do anything with this code, right? So what you can do is, let's say at this point, this is commit 1, this is commit 2, this is commit 3. Okay, till now you have 3 version and this code is stable. And where are we are at the master branch. Now you want to do something new, but you do not want to change your existing code base. So what you can do is you can create a new branch from here. Feature branch, you can call it. So basically, you can name anything: feature branch, release branch, hotfix branch, uh, anything. And whatever the development you do now, C4, C5, commit 5, commit 6, it will be happening on this feature branch, not on the master branch. So when you check out on this feature branch, your head should be pointing to this feature branch. Okay. So branching is a parallel line of development. So whatever happening in the feature branch will not be reflected in the master branch. So these are like two parallel workspaces, which have a separate code base. Okay. So let's see this from the practical perspective. Okay. So currently you see, I have only the master branch. Let me clear it out. Right. Git branch. So what I'll do is git branch feature 1. Now, if you see git branch, so currently I have 2 branches. Okay. One is master, one is feature 1, but I am still at the feature branch. So what does it mean? If I see you the git log, so you can see head is master, but there is a feature one as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4 commits we have. So right now the repo structure, my repo structure is like this. What is happening to this? So right now I have four. So right now what happens is I have four commits: C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay. Now my master is also there, and I created one branch called feature. One is also there. But we need to remember, wherever my head is pointing, I will see the content of that branch in my working directory. So you can see head is pointing out to the master. So I am currently at the master branch. If you need to go to feature branch, you need to do a git checkout feature one. You see, switch to branch feature. Okay. Now if you see git branch, so you moved out to now feature one. So, and if you do a git log, you can see head is now pointing to feature one. So what does it means is, now instead of pointing head to master, head is now pointing here. So now whatever you do, you are doing in this feature branch. Okay. So let's say, let me create a fifth file. This is my commit on branch. Okay. I'll do git commit -m-a committing on the branch. See, now what you have done. Okay, here if you see, now we created another version, another commit, that is C5, and where I committed this feature branch. Okay, and now my head is pointing there. So you see, now if you see here, I can see 5 files: first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And if you do a git log, so you can see your master is pointing to this commit, but your feature branch has gone ahead, right? So, and you see the magic. If I again check out on the master branch, see, currently I am on the feature branch and I can see 5 files: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you see this file is there on your local system, but if I check out to master branch, Okay. Now, if you do ls-lrt, you will not be seeing this fifth file. You can see first, second, third, fourth. Why? Because your master is still at the C4. So if you want to do an independent piece of work, you can cut a branch out of your stable code release. Okay. And you can do your independent development. That is not going to hamper, that is not going to do anything with your stable code releases. Any question with the branch? Are we good? So Anil, to answer your question, which use case we will create the branch. Okay. So what happens is, let's say you are developing something, some feature. Okay. So if you are developing a new feature, so mostly, okay. So mostly what happens is, whatever the version is going on, okay, the master will have the stable code. Okay. Master will always have the stable code. Then, if you want to do, let's say, some feature development, something new you are developing, so you can create feature branch. And this is not, you cannot, it's not only you can create one branch, you can create multiple branch, right? So first use case is, if you want to develop any new feature, then you will be creating a new branch. Okay. So that is one use case. Second use case is, now you see, we have these stable code. If you want to deploy it to the production, you are doing some new development, you cut a release branch. Okay, do all the development on this release branch, deploy this version to the production, and merge it to the production, merge it to the master. So merging we are going to see later, and the next in this class. But so mostly we are going to create the branches for the feature, for the releases. So these are the standard use cases. Now, if you want, let's say, there could be your custom use case as well. So, for example, I have three developer. Okay, I do not want anyone to be interfering with anyone's code. So I can create three branches for my three developer. They will be doing the development individually, and whenever there is a need for merging the code, they can merge it. Right. So feature and release are the general use cases, but again, you can create your use case based on your custom requirements. So Rohit, again, whatever you are doing in your local system. You need to push that branch as well. So we will see that how we are going to do. So currently, whatever you are doing it in your local. So if you remember, if we have run the particular commands, I don't know if will be getting the history. Yes. So you see, if you see this command, get push hyphen u origin master, right? So we have told the git to push only the master. If let's say now git, let me open the GitHub as well. What was my repository? GitHub demo. Right. So you can see only one branch is there. Now what I'll do is git push -u origin feature one. See, now you refresh it. Now you have two branches, master branch and the feature one. Two branches is there. And you see, currently I am in the master. So you can see first, second, third, and fourth. And if you switch to feature one, fifth file is there, right? So this is not about the new file. If you change the content of the file as well, then also it is going to reflect it on the branches. So you see, this is saying the branch is one commit ahead of the master. And this is clearly, we can see it from the git log commands as well. So you can see my feature is at one commit ahead. So my master is on the C4, that is commit 4, and this is at commit 5. So, and that is clearly being told here. The branch is one commit ahead of the master. So you can see here, and whatever you have done, it is also showing you. So clear about the branches. So whatever you are doing, you will be doing in your local system. Then you need to push it to the GitHub. So GitHub is just the collaboration medium. There are others as well. So if I show you, there is something called Bitbucket. So you see, Bitbucket gets started for free, code manage and collaborate. So there are multiple such tool is available. One is GitLab, the DevSecOps platform. Here also, I don't know if I have signed in over the GitLab. Let's see. No, I do not have was. Let me try it with Google sign in. So you can see here, you can either create a project or you can import a project. Okay. So you can import a project, let's say from GitHub. So they all work on the same way: GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket Cloud, other repository. So in Azure, you will be seeing Azure repos. In AWS, there is a code commit, but they all are working. Let's say I'm giving a group name. To authenticate. So I'll just do a create blank project. demo and create a project. Now you will see it is exactly the same thing. So here also you can see git remote add origin, git branch, and git push. See, terminology can be little bit here and there. So if you see here, there they are not using the master branch, they are using the main branch. Okay, but 95% of the working will remain the same because all these platform they use Git in the backend. So either you use GitHub, you use GitLab, you use Azure repos, you are using Azure AWS code commit, and then in GCP there is source code repo. They all will be working in a same manner. Okay, clear about the branches? Feature A branch. Now there is a very interesting thing. We call it as a merge. Okay, so what is the use of the branches? We have seen that whenever you work, you want to do a new piece of the work. Okay, let me draw a new diagram. So whenever you want to do a new piece of work, you are going to create a branch. Currently, my situation is like this: C1, C2, C3, C4. Right? C1, C2, C3, C4, and my master is there. Here I cut a branch. From where I cut from the commit after the commit 4, right? So here I cut a branch and done a C5 here, commit 5, right? Now, if I want to see, uh, branches are usually the short-lived. Okay, so let's say if you are developing the new code, new feature, in the end you want it to be available to everyone, right? You do not want to develop a feature in isolation. Okay, if you're releasing something to production, in the end you want it to be stable code, right? So once the purpose of the branch is over, then we merge it into the main branch. Okay. And this is the general practice. So let's say if you have two branches, you can merge them together as well. But here I am talking about the general scenario. So let's say this is a feature branch. Now I committed a C5 here, right? What I will do is I will create a merge. And this merge, whatever the content is here, it will get reflected here as well. So let's see how we are going to do this. It's a very simple process actually. It is nothing much. So if you see get branch, so whatever branch we are in, let's check out to the master. Now to get merge. You see updating this fast forward and fifth.txt. Now if you see the git log, you can see now my master is as the commit 5 and my feature one is at the commit 5. Now you see a very interesting thing. Here, there's two things. One is the origin master, and there's the origin feature and master and the feature one. Okay. So this origin master and origin feature one are the branches, the current state in the GitHub. So you can see here, even though my master has been merged with the this branch, this feature branch, but on GitHub, it's not been done yet, right? So on the GitHub, it is telling me that my origin is at commit 4. My origin feature one it has commit 5, but my feature one and this. So what I'll do is I will again do a git push. And now if you see git log, you see origin master, origin feature, feature one, and master. Everything is at commit 5. And if you refresh this page, you see in the master also I can see the fifth file, and feature one also fifth file. So now everything is at the same space at the commit file. So that is how merging works. And after that, if you want to delete the branch, so you can delete the deleted feature branch, right? And if you see the git log now, git branch now, sorry, you are going to see only the master branch because we have deleted the branch feature branch. Okay. One question, how do we limit access to the developer from all these operations because they can mess up if someone get access to the URL or the master origin? Anil, that is a very good question actually. So see what happens is we are seeing at from the conceptual level that all this we can do as a developer, as a DevOps engineer, basically who has access to all of this. Uh, uh, they can do all of these things. So first thing is we are trying to understand the basic. But when you go to your projects, it is not like that everyone would be able to push it. Okay. So there are certain features, I would say, if you go to security, so there are you can define now these will depend on platform to platform basically. So GitHub will be having some different policies, GitLab will be having some different policies and all. But if you go to settings, so there's a default branch. So there is something you can control. You can limit how many branches and tags can be updated in a single push, right? And there is something called protect the branch. This feature is not there in GitHub. Setting code and automation. So you can see here you can add the branch protection rule, right? You can name the branch and you can give these rules multiple things. So you can log the branch is read only, so that your developer would not be able to push it directly. They will need to go through a certain process. Okay, so there are multiple security and security settings we can do to protect the mess up that a developer can do. Okay, so right now we have directly do the merge. Okay, but in general scenario, we do not do a merge in this manner. There will be a process by which we will be doing these merge. Okay, so even though a developer can do all of these things, but we will place all these security related measures so that proper access mechanism will be in the place. Now, those things will be platform dependent. Like across the platform, there will be different settings. But you can definitely like protect your branch, lock your branch, so that there will not be unnecessary pushes. Clear, Anil? Our master will always be logged so that someone is not pushing this code directly to the master branch. Master in general practice, master will always have the stable releases, stable version of your code. So we have seen git init, git status, git add, commit, remote, push, clone, pull, branches we have seen, checkout seen, git log we have seen. Okay, now interesting command. Git stash. Okay, Git stash is want to save your work without committing the code. Git has got you covered. Okay, this can be helpful when you want to switch the branches, but after merging the branches, do be able to get file on the feature branch. Yes, Shivam. If you are not deleting the branch, that branch will be there. And see, merging is a continuous process. Okay, this is my master. I created a feature branch. I do some commit, and I can merge it here. Okay, even if you're merging, the feature branch is still there. If you want, you can start doing the code development again until you're not deleting it. You are doing some changes here. Then again, you can merge it. Then you are doing something. Again, you can merge it. Right. So if you think the work is over of this particular feature, particular branch, you can delete that branch. Otherwise, you can continue working on it, and whenever and wherever you need it, you can merge this into the master branch or any other branch. Oh, how to delete branch? We have already seen here. Git branch hyphen d. So we have deleted the branch, right? Exactly, Sushil. So basically, branch concept is when you are working on multiple things. Okay, now you see these functionality are independent of each other. Then you can create a different branches for. Basically, it is for the parallel development, so that you always have a stable code base at the your main branch or master branch, and you can play around with your code in different branches. So that if something happens in the end, you always have a stable code base with you. Because if you are doing some changes and something broke out of your code, then how to you can always go to the previous version, but with so many files, it will again be a tedious process, right? So whatever experimentation you need to do is do it in your branch, separate branch, and leave a stable code base with the master. Rohit, you have deleted it in your local. Okay. So if you do it a git push now, so to delete the branch from the GitHub, right? Because it is already shared with the other persons. So you need to delete it from the GitHub itself. You can go to settings, branches. And we need to see where we can delete it. But whenever you are deleting the branch, you are deleting it from your local only. It would not be because see, GitHub is a collaborative platform, right? Now we do not know who else is using this branch. So that is why you cannot delete it on the remote system. Okay, git stash. Okay. So you want to save your work without committing the code. Git has got you covered. This can be helpful when you want to switch the branches but do not want to save your work on a Git repository. To stash your unstashed file without committing, just type in git stash, and if you want to stash your untracked file as well, you do it. So once you are back and want to retrieve working, you just need to give it the git stash form. So what does it mean? Can we point multiple branch to single web app? No, what is the need for that, Shashil? Because see, every branch will have a full-fledged code. So when you deploy it, you need to deploy it from a single branch only. Why we need to deploy it from the multiple branch? No, there is no need. So if you want to do the testing, you let's say create a testing branch and you deploy your app from the testing branch. What is the need of multiple branches? Because this branch, let's say this is a master, and this is a feature. Now master has full code, feature also has full code, right? Now you want to add some functionality. That is why you cut the feature. So if you want to deploy it, you cannot deploy it from these two branches. Either you can deploy from the master or you can deploy from the feature, because these two are the independent copies of the full code base. So whatever scenario that you are mentioning is not needed at all. Okay. Okay. To test a new feature, how can sure it will work on the prod. Okay. So what happens is, let's say this is master. Now we cut a branch out of it. Now whatever the code base is there, it got come here, right? Let's say code base one. So code base one is whatever the code stable code is there. It is already there in this release branch. Now you develop your release branch, whatever feature you want to develop. Now you deploy it to dev, to test, to pre-prod, and to prod. Let's say this is a release branch. Once your release is successful, you deploy the code into the production. Okay, it is working in the production, and you find it is working, or all the testing has been done. Once all the testing has been done, you merge it with your master. Now it has the C2 code base. You again create a, let's say this is release October. You again create a branch release November. It has the full code base of C2. You do your development, you deploy this branch. So basically, it's not necessary that you will be deploying your master branch only. You can deploy your release branch also. And this is actually we follow more often. You create a release branch, you do all the development in the release branch, you deploy your code of release branch. And once the code is deployed, then you merge it to the production. So that the master code that get updated with the all the new feature that got introduced in this particular release. Uh, we deploy. So Rohit, please pose the question to everyone. We deploy the release branch to prod and then commit to master branch. Uh, the right word is then merge to master branch, not commit to master branch. And see, this is just one of the strategy. You can follow your own strategies. You can create a release branch. You can create a hotfix branch. That will depend on your requirements. You can do whatever you want to do. See, there is no general guidelines for this. There are general guidelines for this, but there is no hard and fast rule that you need to follow this only. You can follow based on a discussion with your development team, how they are comfortable. Right? In one of the project I was working, there is only feature branches they are using. They are developing the feature, they are deploying that feature, and that's it. There is no release branch. Right. So depend on project to project. Okay. So we are at the Git stash. So basically what happens is, let's say I create a branch, Git branch F1. Okay. Now if you say Git branch, okay, now we have two branches. Now, what is the purpose of a stash? Basically, the stash is like if you want to save something, bef but you do not want to commit it. So let's say I created an example of vi6.txt to stash. I'll do a git add stuff. Now I do not want to commit this file. And so without committing, if you go to another branch, it would not allow you to go. So what you do is, what is the command? Git stash simple. This saved the working directory and the state pip on the master. And now you can check out to another branch. Okay. And you start doing your work into this file. Now you can come back to your master and do ls-lrt. You can see second, you only see fifth five file because the sixth file that we created is in the stash. Okay, so what we need to do is git stash pop. Now you see, you are seeing the sixth file. So basically, if you want to save some file temporarily, then you are going to use the git stash command. Okay, and it is again very famous interview question. Like what is a get stash do? How you can actually do that? Do save temporary file over the git? Um, so all these questions. So for that, there is a command called git stash. So if you want to save some so Yasin, there is no time limit as such. If you are see, you save something, it will be there till the time your Git is there, your system is there. There is no timeline as such. Once you are coming and running the Git stash scope, it will give you the files. Okay. So Sushil, Git stash is basically, so I am working on some file. Okay. I have not complete because you do the commit once your work is over. Okay. So let's say I'm writing my code and my code has not been finished yet. So I do not want to commit the file because once I commit the file, it will create a version and I do not want to create a version with the uncompleted work. And I need to go to another branch to do something else. But so I want to save that file temporarily so that my whatever work I have done till now will not get lost. If I will move to another branch, my work will get lost, whatever I have done without committing it. Okay, so that is where Git Stash comes into the picture, where you can basically save your work in a temporary stack, we can say. So temporary space, we can say, with the help of git stash command. And when you are back, you give git stash pop. So whatever work saved with the git stash will come back to your working directory. Okay. So again, git revert. As the name is suggesting, this command help you in reverting a commit to a previous version. Commit ID can be obtained from the git log. So let's see this git revert. Okay. So let me do a commit. Right. ls-lrt, you are going to see the sixth file. Okay. And if I do git log, you can see my master has been moved to this commit. Now let's say if I want to revert this to this commit, I will do git revert and the commit ID. So it says, so one file change, one deletion. And if you see, you can come to sixth file, fifth file has gone. So whatever will be there in this commit, right? You revert it out to this commit. So whatever the content of this commit, and if you see git log now, it has created a new commit ID for you, which is equivalent to this commit. So with the help of revert, you can go back to, you can basically revert any commit out of this. Then we have a git diff command. So with git diff, you can basically find out the difference between the two commits. So you can see this is a difference, a third.txt, and this is a content. So with the git diff, we can see what is the difference between these two commits. Clear? Any question till now? You guys want to take a break? Okay. I think that would not be a problem. Anytime you have a question, we have this session for next 1 month or so. So don't worry, I will be there for you if you have any question while doing the practicals. Don't worry. Okay, let's meet after 10 minutes. Hey guys, I'll be back. Okay. Okay. So we have seen the git merge. Now we will see the git rebase. So once the developer has finished this code feature on the branch, the code will have to be combined with the master branch. Okay. So this is a general statement, but you can merge or rebase any two branches. It's not necessarily should be the master branch, but you can merge or rebase any two branches. Now, what is the difference between the merge and rebase? In our scenarios, what we have seen, one, two, here you cut a feature branch, you do something on the feature branch, then you merge it, right? This will be called as the merge. Now, let's imagine you are on the master branch. You create a branch, feature branch, you do something, some work on this. Meanwhile, before merging, you come to know that there are some changes on the feature master branch as well. Here you see no changes, right? Here there are changes. Then in that case, you need to rebase your master branch. You need to rebase your feature branch to the master so that you do updated changes in your branch. Then you do a merge. So that is the difference between a merge and rebase. So if there is no change, we will be doing the merge, and if there is a change, we do the rebase. So git merge we already seen. If you want to merge, apply changes from one branch to another branch, you can use the merge command. So should be used only the remit branch since history does not change. Creates a new commit which is a merger of the two branch. So we have already seen this. Git merge. You can see this. So this. Now comes interesting thing about the Git rebase. So imagine you have a master branch and the test branch. The developer has finished his or her work in the test branch, but the master moved forward while the code was being developed. Code being developed is related to the new commit added in the master. Therefore, you want all the changes from your master in your test branch or your feature branch. Since it is a local branch, you would want a cleaner or a linear history. So you decided to use the Git rebase. So let's do a practical of Git rebase. I will create another repo for this. I'll just go to this file. I'll initialize this repository because now I'm in different folder, right? So there is nothing. So what I'll do is I will create some file, some content. Simple git add, git commit -m, committing at master. Now what we'll do is we will create, let's say, a feature branch. So git checkout -b feature branch. Now this is a command which will create a branch and check out on this particular branch. Otherwise, you need to first create a branch, git branch feature branch, and then git checkout feature branch. So this is like a combination of both these commands. Okay. Now vi file txt. I will add some more content in it. Some more branch content. Okay. Git commit -am added feature content. If you see git log, so you have two commits. Clear till now? What we have done is we have this version v1 and here we created version v2. This is my main master till now and this is my feature. Here we will go through the two concepts. Git rebase is we are going to see, but apart from the git rebase, we are going to see one more concept that is called the merge conflict. So let me check out to the master. Now again, I will do file .txt. And another line added from the master branch. Git commit -am message second commit from master. And if you see git log now, it's a master. And if you see git branch, you have two branches. Now let me clear it. So now the situation is we have move ahead, right? We have created v3 onto the master, right? And here you are going to see we need to get these changes into our feature branch, correct? Because if we need to merge it, how can we merge it when they have the different uh, connotations? Now remember this thing very clearly. When you run the merge command, okay, you always run the merge command where you want to merge it. So for example, if I want to merge it in the master, I am going to run the merge command from the master branch. Okay, but rebase you are going to run what you want to merge. So here rebase should be run by the feature branch. Now I'll go git checkout feature branch. What I need to do, git rebase master. You see, auto merging file.txt conflict. So here we are seeing two concepts, as I said. One is we are rebasing it. Rebase, if there would have been no conflict, rebase would have been like it's like a git merge only, no difference. But here there is a conflict. So if you open the file.txt, more file.txt, vi file.txt, you can see initial the first line is the same, right? But you see another line added from the master branch and there is some more branch content. Now at the same line we have the similar on the same line, we have the different content, one from the branch and one from the master, right? So while merging, while rebasing, so when we are saying merging or rebasing, rebasing is just a specialized form of merging only, right? So when we are merging, how would it know that which line should it pick up, right? So then there is a conflict. So there is a conflict, right? So there is something called git merge tool, merge conflict, git merge tool. So you say hit return to start merge resolution tool. So here you can see initial content is fine. Another line added from the master branch and some more branch content you're seeing, right? So what you can do is, let's say I deleted this line. So this is my file now. It 4 files to edit. And now if you do git rebase continue, successfully rebases and updated the file. So that is how you are going to resolve the merge conflict. There is a merge tool. So that is also very initially we are going at the very basic level. I'm showing you there are some advanced tools available to resolve the merge tool. Your platform is only giving you the access, like for example, GitHub or GitLab. There will be advanced tools also to resolve the merge conflicts. So similarly, we have resolved it. Now collaboration in GitHub, we are seeing it already. Protecting branch, we have seen. Okay. Now we are already discussing all these things. So a Git workflow is a recipe or recommendation for how to use Git to accomplish work in a consistent and productive manner. Git workflow encourages user to leverage Git effectively and efficiently. So one is a centralized workflow, one is a feature branching, in which you will be creating a branch for every feature. And then there is a GitHub, a Git flow workflow. So Git flow workflow, you create a branch for a release. Okay. And then you deploy that release to your production, and then you merge it to your master. Then after deploying to production, okay, you got some issue. So to fix that issue, you need to create an hotfix branch, do that all the development in the hotfix branch, and you again deploy that hotfix branch to production. So centralized workflow, the workflow does not require any other branch other than the master. All the changes are directly made on the master and finally merge on the remote master once work is finished. Before pushing the changes, the master is rebased with the remote commits, results in a cleaner linear history. Mostly we do not follow this centralized workflow. It is not recommended. Then we have the feature branches. Master only contains the production ready code. Any development work which is converted into a feature branch. Then there can be numerous feature branches depending on the application development plan. Once the feature is completed, the feature branch is merged with the master. Here, you do all the development on the feature. Okay, you deploy the feature in the lower environments, but once the feature development is over, you merge it to the master and deploy the master into the production. But the most linear, most preferable way is the Git flow workflow. The feature branches are never merged directly with the master. Once the features are ready, the commit is merged with the developer. When there are enough commits on the develop, we merge the develop branch with the release branch. Any quick fixes which are required are done with the hotfix branch. Okay. Now these are the, you might not be using the develop branch, for example. These are the general guidelines, but you can choose what is suitable for your product, for your project requirement. So, but here we are keeping the release branches and deploying the release branches. When release branches are done, then we are merging them with the master. Now there is another concept of forking. Okay, forking is not a Git concept; it's a GitHub concept. Okay, so right now we have seen. So let's say this is this repository. This is some repository, right? If I want to have this repository, I go and I clone this URL and I run this command git clone and this URL, and that repository will be set up in my local system. But let's say I want to use someone else repository. So for example, let's say uh, sample GitHub repo. Okay. Now this repository is there. This is something, for example, iOS apps. So I'm not bothered about what is the content of this repository, but let's say you are working on something and you are finding, yeah, there is some repository which is having a useful uh, what we can say content for you. Okay, so let's say if I'm deploying Ansible playbooks, so Ansible playbooks example GitHub. You may find multiple such repositories available open source, right? So you can see there are so many examples for Ansible. You can clone this as well. There is no problem, but you cannot, in this case, you clone it to your local, but you would not be able to push it because this repository is not controlled by you, right? You cannot make any changes to this repository. Whatever you can do it on your local system. Now there is another concept called forking. Okay, so what you can do is, in the forking there is the option of fork. So it says fork your own copy of Ansible example. So once you fork this repository, you fork, this is create a new fork. I think I already forked this. Yeah. Okay. So once you fork this, it will come under your repository. Now you see, it is come under my repository. Now it is like, it is your private repository. You can do anything on this repository. So forking means basically you can get a copy of anyone's repository, until obviously they should be allowing the permission. So of the public repository, you will be creating a fork. So fork is like creating an own clone in the GitHub. So fork is a copy of a repository. Forking a repository allows us to freely experiment with the changes without affecting the original product. Now, whatever we are doing here, it is not affecting this repository because I created a fork, so I will be pushing it. Whatever I'm doing it in this Rochek Agarwal 89 at the rate Ansible example, not in the Ansible example, right? So that is example of forking. Forking is a GitHub concept. It has nothing to do with the Git software. So if you see GitLab or Azure repos, forking is not there. It's a GitHub concept. It is used to copy someone else's repository to your own repo in GitHub, are not reflected in the parent repository. If one want to suggest any changes to the parent repository, so then they need to request a merge request. So this is about the version control. And as I said, version control is a tool that is we are as a DevOps engineer are least using because it is more of a developer centric tool. So because you are not writing the code, so you do not know how to resolve the merge conflict, what to resolve. So as the administrator, you might be, let's say, protecting the branches, creating the branches, merging the branches, and all those sort of activities, access issues you're sorting. But the actual version controls will be done by the development team. So let's take some quiz. So which of the following is the characteristics of a centralized version control system? Guys, are we here? Answer. We are talking about the centralized version control system. The answer would be C because in the distributed version control system, version history is available on the local storage. Which of the following should Git Rewe should be used on? Yes, local branch. Remote branch, we do nothing. We only push. Which of the following workflow should be used if we want to deploy multiple feature at once? So straightforward. Now what? Forking helps us in. That is right. Now, merge conflict occurs when, correct. So yeah, guys, this is about the version control system. Next, we will start the Jenkins. That it will be a continuous integration system, and that is where we will be starting seeing the DevOps concept getting implemented because CI process will be the heart of any DevOps pipeline. So we will orchestrate everything from the CI perspective. So Jenkins is very critical to know. Jenkins or any other CI tool for that matter. Okay. So this is it for today. Thank you for your time. Any question? Yeah, see, this is all with the Git. That is what I said. This is one of the tool that is more developer centric. So as a DevOps engineer, you might not be running those commands altogether every now and then. So you should be just aware about the basics of Git. Hands-on will be taken separately. So we are doing these hands-on, whatever the concepts, whatever we are doing. So that these are the demonstrations. Apart from it, there will be hands-on session. You will be doing the assignments. Those will be taken separately. Thank you, guys.